I'd like to call the January 2nd, 2024 meeting of the City Council for the City of Lake City to order. If everyone will stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for the invocation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let us pray. Our Heavenly Father, we thank you for allowing us to gather and conduct the business of our community. We ask for your guidance tonight, that what we do is for the betterment of our community and pleasing in your eyes. We ask that you look after our citizens, our first responders, and our soldiers. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Ms. Sykes, will you call the roll?
Mr. Jernigan?
Present.
Mr. Hill?
Here.
Ms. Young? Mayor Witt?
Here.
Mr. Johnson?
Here.
Mr. Kennon?
Here.
Chief Miles?
Okay. We have 3 minutes, approval of the agenda.
So approved, Mayor. Second.
Motion second to approve the agenda as published. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, the public comments, Mr. Bowden.
Happy New Year, Mayor and council members. Glenn Abadi, 1156 Northeast Baskin Lodge Drive. Now I want to use this opportunity, Mayor, to talk about a couple of things in public comments. I noticed on the agenda package that was published in the past, you had that declaration that you didn't read tonight.
Right.
So what happened? Why that's not happening anymore?
I did see it on there and I didn't do it. I don't know why it's not on there. It'll be on there in the next meeting.
Just an oversight.
Just an oversight.
Okay, thank you, because I was thought maybe for a different reason. The other thing I want to talk about, man, at the last meeting, I think it was a conversation, you stated that you're going to have a motion, then discussion, then you hear from the public.
Right.
That's a change from how you've been doing it in the past. The reason I bring that up, Mel, you know, I spend more time on this side of the podium even before I got elected than I spent up there. So over here, we come to this podium and try to influence and give some direction to the city council. Is the council going to discuss the issue and make a motion and vote on it, and make a motion and entertain discussion from the public, then it's almost a waste of my time. I want to speak to the issue before there's a discussion, because I'm limited to 3 minutes. You all can talk as long as you want to talk. So there's an item on the agenda, let's say if you're talking about a position, and I want to talk about that, but I got 3 minutes to talk about it, then I take my seat. And if I can only do that after someone already made the motion, there's been a second and you all discussed it, then what is the public input for? The reason I want to speak to the issue as the public, I want to influence the decision as much as possible. I don't have a vote. But it makes no sense to me that if you're going to vote on an issue impacting my community, and the only time I can speak to it after it already been a motion and a second, and you already had your discussion, then that's how it's going to go going forward, or are you going to entertain an opportunity for the public to speak to an issue before there's a motion and a second?
We were at a ethics meeting, Ms. Young, Ms. Sykes, Jake, and Ricky. And the lady there said, this is how you're supposed to do it. Wait till you get a motion and a second. And so that's why I changed it. I'm gonna look into it. I'd rather do it the other way because that's the way I've always done it. And I will have an answer at the next meeting for sure, and I'll make sure that I get some input from different people.
Yeah, because if that's how you're supposed to do it, one thing. If it's not a violation, if you're not violating some rules, some decorum, then in my view, it's suppressed public participation.
Well, I'm gonna set Robert's rules and whatever and do it the way we have to do it, but I like the way we did it before.
Well, I think as the chair, you can entertain some conversation, or a council member can entertain some conversation before the vote, I would think. If that be the case, then I would tell you that that's suppressed public participation. And for those who've never been on this side of the podium arguing, then you might not appreciate that. But for me, who want to come up and speak to the issue, I want to be heard before y'all have your discussion, because y'all discussions take hours sometimes.
Well, I'll have an answer for you.
All right, at the next meeting.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
All right, the only other one, Mr. Warren.
Mr. Mayor, Council, I don't want to be redundant, but for similar reasons, I come to the podium. I don't think anybody sitting up here, to my knowledge, have been majorly on this side of the podium, not fighting for themselves, but fighting for people and people in their community on issues and trying to get the council members and UMail to understand the importance of the issues in the environment in which they live in and the help that's needed. And if you limit, you just got to think about this, Mayor, and maybe some deep thought. And when you say that she told you this is how it's supposed to be, what is she basing that on? Is she basing that on that this is a charter fact, a constitutional fact? Is this law, or is this similar to what me and the county got into it about high convicted felons? Well, it came out that they weren't high convicted felons, not because they had a law or a policy against it. It was just a practice that they had against high convicted felons. And that's a huge difference, Mayor.
I understand that, and I will clarify that, whether it's their opinion or whether it's a fact.
Right. So.
We can go back, I'll go back.
Right. And I think that that's what we all should be pushing for, because it's suppressed speech, right? That's the worst thing we can do. And that's the worst position that we can get ourselves in, because it's only gonna ramp things up. Because there's other outlets that people will take to be heard. So, thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Next is, okay, old business, we have opened a public hearing on City Council Ordinance 2023-2265 on final reading. Kenny, would you read that by title?
An ordinance of the City of Lake City, Florida, amending sections 2-178E, 2-182 of Article 6, Chapter 2 of the Code of the City of Lake City related to purchases of items and contractual services and bid procedures, providing that all purchases of items and contractual services, when the estimated cost thereof exceeds $35,000, be purchased by formal written contract approved by the City Council after public notice inviting quotations and proposals, providing that all bid-based contracts for the purchase of items and contractual services when the estimated cost thereof exceeds $35,000 be awarded to the lowest responsible bidder, providing for the elimination of bid quotation for purchase of items and services when the cost thereof does not exceed $5,000, providing for bid procedures for the purchase of items and services when the cost exceeds $5,000 but is less than $15,000, providing for bid procedures for the purchase of items and services when the cost thereof exceeds $15,000 but is less than $35,000, providing for bid procedures for the purchase of items and services which cost $35,000 or more, providing for severability, providing for the repeal of conflicts, providing for codification, and providing an effective date.
Okay, anybody in our audience wish to speak for or against this ordinance? Okay, if not, then we will close the public hearing and move into adoption of City Council Ordinance 2023-2265.
Mr. Mayor, make a motion to approve order 2023-2265, final reading.
Second.
Been a motion and a second, any further discussion? Ms. Sykes, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Hill?
Yes.
Ms. Young?
Yes.
Mr. Jernigan?
Yes.
Mayor Whit?
Yes. Okay, no resolution and no old business, we have new business, we have City Council Ordinance number 2024-2266 on first reading. Mr. Kenny, would you read that by title?
Ordinance number 2024-2266, an ordinance of the City of Lake City, Florida, amending the official zoning atlas of the City of Lake City Land Development Regulation as amended, relating to the rezoning of less than 10 contiguous acres of land pursuant to an application Z23-09 by the property owner of said acreage, providing for rezoning from residential office RO and residential multifamily RMF1 to commercial intensive CI of certain lands within the corporate limits of the City of Lake City, Florida, providing severability, repealing all ordinances in conflict, and providing an effective date.
Okay, is there a motion to adopt City Council Ordinance number 2024-2266 on first reading?
Mr. Mayor, make a motion to approve 2024-2266, first reading.
Second.
Got a motion and a second, any discussion? Ms. Sykes, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Hill.
Yes.
Mr. Jernigan.
Yes.
Ms. Young.
Yes.
Mayor Whit.
Yes. Item three, the city council ordinance 2024-2267, first reading. Mr. Kenny, would you read that by title?
Ordinance number 2024-2267, an ordinance of the city of Lake City, Florida, amending the official zoning atlas of the city of Lake City, land development regulations as amended, relating to the rezoning of more than 10 contiguous acres of land pursuant to an application Z23-08 by the property owner of said acreage, providing for rezoning from commercial general CG and commercial intensive CI to commercial highway interchange CHI of certain lands within the corporate limits of the city of Lake City, Florida, providing severability, repealing all ordinances in conflict, and providing an effective date.
Okay, is there a motion that the city council ordinance number 2024-2267?
With the correction of the reading Z23-09 instead of 08, I make a motion that we, adopt city ordinance number 2024-2267.
Second.
Got a motion and a second, any discussion? Ms. Sykes, will you call the roll, please?
Ms. Young.
Yes.
Mr. Hill.
Yes.
Mr. Jernigan.
Yes.
Mayor Whit.
Yes. Item four, city council ordinance 2024-2268 on first reading. Mr. Kenny, would you read that by title?
Ordinance number 2024-2268, an ordinance of the city of Lake City, Florida, amending the text of the city of Lake City land development regulations as amended, relating to section 4.15.5 special exceptions, more specifically section 4.15.5.2, amending the text for travel trailer parks and campgrounds in section 4.15.5.3, adding text to allow storage facilities for boats, recreational vehicles, and similar equipment by special exception within the commercial highway interchange zoning district of certain lands within the corporate limits of the city of Lake City, Florida, providing severability, repealing all ordinances in conflict, and providing an effective date.
Is there a motion that the city council ordinance 2024-2268?
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to approve ordinance 2024-2268.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second, any discussion? Ms. Sykes, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Hill.
Yes.
Ms. Young.
Yes.
Mr. Jernigan.
Yes.
Mayor Whit.
Yes. Item five is city council ordinance 2024-2269 on first reading. Mr. Kenny, would you read that by title?
Ordinance number 2024-2269, an ordinance of the city of Lake City, Florida, amending the text of the city of Lake City land development regulations as amended, relating to section 4.13.5 special exceptions, more specifically section 4.13.5.16, amending the text to permit travel trailer parks or campgrounds by special exception within the commercial intensive zoning district of certain lands within the corporate limits of the city of Lake City, Florida, providing severability, repealing all ordinances in conflict, and providing an effective date.
Is there a motion as to city council ordinance 2024-2269 on first reading?
I make a motion to adopt city council ordinance number 2024-2269.
Second.
Got a motion and a second, any discussion? Ms. Sykes, you call the roll, please.
Ms. Young.
Yes.
Mr. Hill.
Yes.
Mr. Jernigan.
Yes.
Mayor Whit.
Yes. Item six is city council ordinance 2024-2270 on first reading. Mr. Kenny, would you read that by title?
Ordinance number 2024-2270, an ordinance of the city of Lake City, Florida, amending the future land use plan map of the city of Lake City Comprehensive Plan as amended, relating to an amendment of 50 or less acres of land pursuant to an application CPA 23-07 by the property owner of said acreage under the amendment procedures established in sections 163.3161 through 163.3248 Florida statutes as amended, providing for changing the future land use classification from residential medium density, less than or equal to 8 dwelling units per acre, to commercial of certain lands within the corporate limits of the city of Lake City, Florida, providing severability, repealing all ordinances in conflict, and providing an effective date.
Is there a motion as city council ordinance number 2024-2270 on first reading?
I make a motion to adopt city council ordinance number 2024-2270.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? Ms. Oxley, will you call the roll?
Ms. Young,
Yes.
Mr. Hill,
Yes.
Mr. Dornigan,
Yes.
Mayor Whit.
Yes. Okay, we're moving to resolutions, item 7, the city council resolution 2024-001. Mr. Kennedy, would you read that by title?
City Council Resolution Number 2024-001, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Lake City, Florida, authorizing the execution of a memorandum of understanding with Another Way, Inc., Domestic Violence and Rape Crisis Center through the Lake City Police Department to coordinate services that are provided to adult and adolescent victims and survivors of rape.
Is there a motion on the city council resolution 2024-001?
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to approve resolution number 2024-001.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Ms. Oxley, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Dornigan,
Yes.
Mr. Hill,
Yes.
Ms. Young,
Yes.
Mayor Whit.
Yes. Next is city council resolution 2024-002. Mr. Kennedy, would you read that by title?
City Council Resolution 2024-002. A resolution of the City Council of the City of Lake City, Florida, authorizing the execution of a memorandum of understanding with Another Way, Inc., Domestic Violence and Rape Crisis Center through the Lake City Police Department to coordinate services to victims and survivors of domestic violence.
Is there a motion on the city council resolution 2024-002?
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to approve resolution number 2024-002.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussions to this? Ms. Oxley, will you call the roll?
Mr. Dornigan,
Yes.
Mr. Hill,
Yes.
Ms. Young,
Yes.
Mayor Whit.
Yes. Number 9, city council resolution 2024-003. Kennedy, would you read that by title?
City Council Resolution 2024-003, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Lake City, Florida, authorizing the execution of the Third Judicial Circuit Mutual Aid Agreement between municipalities and sheriffs of counties located in the Third Judicial Circuit of Florida through the Lake City Police Department.
Is there a motion on the city council resolution 2024-003?
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to approve resolution number 2024-003.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Ms. Oxley, call the roll, please.
Mr. Dornigan,
Yes.
Mr. Hill,
Yes.
Ms. Young,
Yes.
Mayor Whit.
Yes. Item 10, city council resolution 2024-004. Kennedy, would you read that by title?
City Council Resolution Number 2024-004, resolution of the City Council of the City of Lake City, Florida, designating Michael DeLoach as the alternate director to serve on the Florida Gas Utility Board of Directors on behalf of the city and repealing all prior resolutions in conflict with this resolution.
Is there a motion as city council resolution 2024-004?
Mr. Mayor, make the motion to approve resolution 2024-004.
I second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Ms. Oxley, you call the roll, please.
Mr. Hill,
Yes.
Ms. Young,
Yes.
Mr. Dornigan,
Yes.
Mayor Whit.
Yes. Item 11, city council resolution 2024-005. Mr. Kennedy, would you read that by title?
City Council Resolution Number 2024-005, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Lake City, Florida, accepting a utility easement from the Tommy Hospitals of Florida, Inc., for the purpose of relocating the existing utilities to accommodate the tower expansion.
Is there a motion as city council resolution 2024-005?
Mr. Mayor, make a motion to approve resolution 2024-005.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Ms. Oxley, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Hill,
Yes.
Ms. Young,
Yes.
Mr. Dornigan,
Yes.
Mayor Whit.
Yes. Item 12, City Council Resolution 2024-006. Mr. Kenneth, read this by title.
City Council Resolution number 2024-006, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Lake City, Florida, declaring certain personal property owned by the city to be either surplus to its needs and sold at public notice sale, or determined to be obsolete, non-serviceable, or beyond economic repair pursuant to and in accordance with the provisions and requirements of Section 2-183 of the City Code, and authorizing the city to remove such surplus property when sold or disposed of from the fixed assets of the city.
Motion as City Council Resolution 2024-006.
Mr. Mayor, make a motion to approve resolution 2024-006.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion?
Yes, I got a question. Mr. Johnson, on this surplus, such as the vehicles in particular, does the city employees get first dibs at these vehicles?
Anything we sell has to go to auction and it's for the public. They have to, place a bid on it just like everyone else.
Okay.
Okay, anything else? Ms. Harkin, call the roll, please.
Mr. Hill,
Yes.
Ms. Young,
Yes.
Mr. Jernigan,
Yes.
Mayor Webb.
Yes. Next, City Council Resolution 2024-007. Then would you read that by title?
City Council Resolution number 2024-007, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Lake City, Florida, authorizing the city to enter into change order number 1 to task assignment number 10 between the city and Jones Edmonds for professional services assisting the city with the State Road 47 and Interstate 75 improvement project, providing for the connection of septic tanks to the project, increasing the original contract price to a price not to exceed $95,200, and providing an effective date.
Is there a motion as City Council Resolution 2024-007?
Mr. Mayor, make the motion to approve resolution 2024-007.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Ms. Harkin, call the roll.
Mr. Hill,
Yes.
Ms. Young,
Yes.
Mr. Jernigan,
Yes.
Mayor Webb.
Yes. Item 14, discussion of possible action filling the vacancy of council member for City Council District 13. We went through this a while back, and so I guess we could kind of use that as a model. I don't know how long we had applications for, but I'll take any comments of council right now, and then I'll get to the public. So I want to speak to it.
Yes, I'd like to speak to a mayor. I don't know about the other two, but you say go back and use the same process that we used before. That was helter-skelter. I mean, that was just too much for anybody to go through. So I don't know if we want to use that process or maybe just wait until election time, simply because that Form 6, excuse me, is deterring most people anyway. So whoever we decide, or whichever way we decide to go on, I just want them to know about that Form 6, and we don't want to go down the same path we went through before. So if we can come up with a different procedure, a way that we can do it, I would love to see that. But that last time you did it, we did it, the end results was, I just don't even understand what the results were, but it wasn't good, put it that way.
Well, and I agree, and I think we need to improve on what we did, so we don't have to, I don't have to make a final decision tonight on what we're doing. But I think the charter says we have to try to do it. So, okay, it says if less than 2 years and 60 days remain in the term of office, the council shall, within 60 days from the date of the vacancy occurred, by a majority vote of the remaining members, choose a successor. So, there's the answer. If we did 30 days for applications, and then would the council want to do interviews like we did before? we could do those within 2 weeks, and then we could comply with the 60 days. And there again, I guess tonight, we could just say that we know what 60 days, that people can make applications, and then we could decide at the next meeting, the final process, if that's what the pleasure of council is. Since it's came within a week, I would favor that one and come back and.
Well, Mayor, you're the chair, and, excuse me, you was getting ready to talk?
No,
Mayor, you're the chair, so whatever you decide to do, I'm gonna support that decision.
Okay, well, that's my recommendation, is the 30 days, and then we'll decide at the next meeting how we wanna fine tune that. I have several that wanna speak, first of all, Mr. Warren.
Mr. Mayor, first thing I want to do is make a correction to Mr. Jernigan. He was not a part of that process. He was involved in that process. And that's one of the issues that I want to speak to. It was a very, as a matter of fact, I want to say that we didn't even meet the charter requirement on that whole issue because of things getting so out of hand by other people. A lot of behind the scene politics taking place, lawsuits flying all over the place, family members and friends trying to inject themselves. I think it was you and Mr. Jefferson that was back and forth, didn't want to support Mr. Jernigan at the time, and myself and others were supportive of Mr. Jernigan, and I ended up getting sued. I had to hire attorneys for myself, Mr. Bowden, Nathan Gambles, Vanessa George, and one of my companies that I just won the appeal in federal court. So you're talking about, I don't know how many thousands, tens of thousands of dollars that I've had to spend because of this decision, similar to one that we're about to entertain. And the city get off the hook because I think y'all probably pay, what, a $10,000 to y'all insurance company, and y'all insurance company kicked in from there. So y'all are not out of the kind of money that myself is out of for trying to do the right thing and securing a particular seat for a particular council member. However, it would not hurt, Mayor, to let that chair cure itself through the next election process. You can try. The charter don't say you have to, it say you have to try.
It says we do.
You didn't, but you didn't last time. You didn't last time. So you would be in the same predicament. Or do you want to relive it? I mean,
I sure don't want to relive it.
why not do it? We're gonna go through the same thing. We're gonna be back in the same place. I know how politics work, and you understand how politics work. It's gonna be people politicking for that seat. It's gonna be the same level of scrutiny. And if I have to, at this point, the way that this council treat me and the way that y'all handle me, for all I've done for y'all, if I have to file a lawsuit just for the hell of it, entertain it, I do it at this point, because y'all done burned so much money of mine to this point, I don't mind. I would just do it for the hell of it, Mayor, because y'all have created an issue for me.
Well,
In the same process, Mayor, you gotta do better as a chair. You gotta do better as an attorney. There's ways around all of this, and I would say seek legal opinion and find a way that we can work through the charter and work around this. That seat needs to cure itself through the election process.
Okay, the charter says the council.
I understand what the charter says, man. You said it 3 or 4 times. I am not hard of hearing.
Okay.
I'm 43 years old, I got good hearing. I'm just telling you what you're about to walk down here. So just gear up for it. So if that's the route that y'all are hard of listening, but if that's the route you want to take, so be it, man. So be it. We'll duke it out like we've always duked it out.
Mr. Bowden,
Mr. Mayor, I do have a little different take than my good friend, Mr. Warren. I suggest that you follow the charter. And the charter said that you got 60 days to appoint somebody. We don't know who's gonna apply for it at this point. It may end up being as political as Mr. Warren suggests, and it may come down to that. But the charter says you got 60 days, so if you don't do it, you don't do it. But you can't ignore the charter. The charter says you got 60 days to do it. So you got to, I suggest you go ahead and advertise. We got a vacancy in what it was, 13, 14? set parameters out that people need to apply for, and they apply and see what happens. And it may end up, the seat never gets, so nobody may not even apply for the job, to be honest with you, you never know. But I do think that you need to follow what the charter says, and then if it don't work out, it don't work out, you know. But, I don't think you should ignore it, unless you got an opinion from somebody saying you can ignore it. But it seems to be pretty certain that you got 60 days to fill the position. See, if it wasn't, say if it was outside that time frame, then you'd be having a special election. You would not be able to put off a special election, you have to have a special election. So the same rule to apply for you to have a special election, the same rule to apply for you having to appoint somebody. It's unfortunate, and it may end to the kind of litigation that Mr. Warren went through on his behalf and on my behalf and others that was engaged. But it may not come to that because of the politics may be different for that seat than it was for the seat that Mr. Jenkins is in right now. You know, keep in mind that a person applied for the seat actually sued this city and sued me, Mr. Warren, Nate Gamble, and Vanessa and some others. So that's what really caused the problem with the lawsuit that went involved in it, you know. But I say follow the charter, see where it falls out. It falls out. If it don't, it don't. But you can't hide from your responsibility. You got a responsibility to uphold the charter. If you start dealing with that, then you're gonna have a problem later on. So it's pretty clear. You know, you can't run from your responsibility. The responsibility of the city council is to 60 days by majority of this council to vote for someone. Now, if you get to the point where you got 2, then at some point, you can run the clock out anyway. And then it may be only one person to apply for it. Or nobody may not apply for it, with number 6 being, what they call it, Amendment 6 or Item 6 or whatever that rule is an issue. Then nobody may not want to apply for it, because they may not want to expose themselves. Would the person have to reveal all that if they apply for it in its application process?
Yeah.
Excuse me, we can confer with the attorney, but I do not believe for the interim appointment, I would say probably not, but if they want to run for the permanent seat that's going to be up in November, then I would say yes.
But if they were appointed, I think they'd have to file it in June.
Yeah, I'm about to say, once they get appointed, it's not interim. That person become a member of the city council.
Eventually, they'll have to
They'll
file
have
it.
to file it eventually.
So that's my
Yeah.
point, though. There's no such thing as interim. Once he get appointed or she get appointed,
Well,
that's a
not
member.
initially, when they turn in their paperwork, it's not initially, then it won't come due until everyone else's is due.
So
If
when,
that person
so
wants to,
if you don't mind, man, so when would that person have to abide by,
if that person,
June.
yeah,
In June.
if they are wanting to, run for the office, for the seat, then qualifying is in June. And I believe all the rest of them are due, I think,
And the
July
form's due
1st.
in June anyway, so
Yeah,
whoever it is gonna have to file that form in June,
anyway.
whether they run or appoint.
okay. So I'm assuming everybody filed their Form 6 already, so I'm gonna put a record, I can see it?
Yeah.
But no, they're not filed,
no,
they're
no.
not due until June.
Yeah, they're not due until June. Form 6 is not due until later in the year,
Oh,
middle of the year, yeah.
so what is the January 1st all about?
That's, if you're in office, every one of us now have to file that form.
That's the when the new law went into effect, January 1.
But it's not due until June?
Right.
I can find out the exact date.
Oh, I'm really confused. I thought y'all had a deadline on the 1st.
Okay,
You do have a deadline. If you don't fill it out by the 30, excuse me.
Go ahead.
If you don't fill it out by the 31st, you'll be fined
A lot.
a lot of money.
By the 31st of,
June,
June.
Yeah, June.
or June 30th.
And then, I know what you're saying, cause I was confused with it also. December 31st was the deadline. If you were gonna file the form, you can file it. But if you were not gonna file it, you need to put in your resignation by December 31st, if I'm not mistaken. Am I right?
That's correct. Alright,
If you hold the position after January 1 of a calendar year, then you file your Form 6 based on the deadline, and Form 6 is a look back to the last day of 2023. That's where it gets confusing. You file it, it's like taxes. You file it in 24 for calendar year 2023.
so nobody on this council got anything filed at this point? Oh, okay.
okay, James Carter,
James Carter, 362 Southwest Tularosa Lane, Lake City, Florida.
Mr. Mayor, council, I can assuage some of the concerns there. At least one person will apply. That's why I came today. I wasn't sure of the process, but I am in District 13, and I would like to be considered to fill that vacancy. Many of you guys have worked with to some degree in the past, and I already serve the city now as the vice chair of the Historical Preservation Board of Adjustments and the Planning and Zoning Board. You know, when it's important, I believe in keeping things concise. I love my city. I've spent most of my adult life spending a lot of my free time taking part in various organizations to help make this place a better place. And I think a little bit of a, you know, kind of young, excited leadership might be a nice change of pace. So I would like to be considered, and I'd love to do that for the city. So.
Man, you got a candidate now, we can fill the vacancy now then, man.
And I want to be
Gotta give
clear.
everybody a chance.
I want to be clear. I've never sued anyone. In fact, I'm not sure how. So, I mean, I'm sure I could figure it out if it was necessary, but so far, so good. So, if you have any questions for me, whenever there's an application, I'll be happy to fill it out. Also, I'm a floor salesman. My finances are simple. I'm not scared of any forms. So, thank you.
I think what we, at this point, just a letter of, that you're interested in it, maybe some qualifications. I don't think we have an exact form for that, correct? So
That's correct.
just a letter from you, that, okay?
I'll get it. Thank you.
All right, anything else on that? We'll address that next meeting, but we,
Mayor, can you just clarify for me, do you want me to run an ad in the paper that we are accepting? Okay.
and that everybody agreement, we gotta do that.
What is the deadline? Would you like to run it for, how long do you wanna leave it open for letters of interest?
30 days, because we got to do that.
Is everyone in agreement with that?
Mr. Mayor, I don't mean to be out of order, but you mentioned something about qualifications. There's no qualifications other than being a registered voter and living within the city.
For that position, just like if you were running for that position.
Yeah,
you
but
have
you
to
said
live there.
qualifications.
How long do you have to live there? A year?
A year. That, it's in our code as
You have to
it's called
live there and that's
So you
it.
mean the qualifications of the charter? That's what you were referring to when you say qualifications?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I don't see any departmental administration. We do have Martin Luther King Parade, January 15th at 10 a.m. Council workshop, January 22nd at 6 on the Mariah Fund, January 29th at 6 o'clock on the council meeting decorum, and then in February 26th at affordable housing. Any other comments of council?
Oh, yes, I do, Mayor. Just a form here, February 16th, there's a Lake City homeless veteran stand down. So I think we all received one of these right here, but I just wanted to make sure that I talked about this program. Of course, I am a veteran myself, and it's important that we try all we can to take care of these homeless veterans. So if you know of a veteran, this is free services, homeless program, employment information, VA enrollment, VA claims assistance, medical screening, social security assistance, hygiene supplies, haircuts, and there's other services out there for those homeless veterans. So if you know of a veteran, this would be a good time to let them know that they can get off to get to this particular function, and it's located at the Florida National Guard Armory, 490 Northwest Lake Jeffrey Road, Lake City, Florida. So try to encourage some of the veterans to attend.
That's from 9 to 1, so.
9 to 1, that is correct.
Anything else in council? Is everybody-
I'd like to say, wish everyone a happy new year, and may you continue to be blessed.
Okay.
We need a motion.
Is that a motion?
So be it.
Second.
Motion is second to adjourn, all in favor, say aye. Opposed? Okay. All right.